All right, I have the Bull Andre Harrison back on the show now, who looked very good in his last fight out at CES 65 this past Sunday, beating Mauro Chaulet by a doctor stoppage at the end of round number one. Dre, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I had a good weekend.
Yes, you did. And I got to ask you right out of the gate, because I was surprised that he came out and just wanted to slug with you. It looked like he just wanted to get into a firefight. Did you expect that?
Funny enough was that morning. So Sunday morning, I got up and I looked at a couple of things, just to maybe pick up whatever. And I was like, he comes out pretty aggressive. I don't know if I really thought about this too much. And I saw like he came out just bunch of like a switch step, right hand, right kick hard. And I was like, all right, well, maybe he might come out like that. And I was like, all right, just, make sure to keep that left hand high. And I did. And he came out swinging like that. So I was like, all right, well, expected this.
Well, you stayed composed and you landed a 1-2 combo, and he was leaking blood pretty bad. It looked like maybe you broke his nose. Did you feel like you really hurt him bad, and that really ultimately was the beginning of the end?
So when I threw the 1-2 and he like stumbled back, I think he went to shoot, and I threw, and actually me and Keith went over this plenty of times. If you hurt somebody and they step back, throw the uppercut, because throw a right hand, they might go under it. So I threw the uppercut and it landed like flush on his nose. So I think the right hand is what cut him, and the uppercut is what destroyed his nose. And once I looked down and I seen all that blood, I was like, shoot. Because I was gonna go for submission, but I was like, all this blood, man, I might mess around and slip off. I might as well just keep it back to my feet. So that's why I pushed off and brought it back up to the feet and tried to land some good strikes.
Yeah, and you continue to look good. Run me through the standing guillotine there, because I thought that you were going to slam him, man. I was just waiting for it, and you just sat there and you're on the fence, and you stayed, cool, calm, and collected. Run me through like your mindset in that particular position.
So originally I was like, let me run through the shot. But as I was going through, he pretty much jumped guard. And when he did that, my left arm was trapped. And I felt as though if I went down to the ground at that point in time, that there's a good chance that he could have me in a position to finish me. And so I was like, all right, well, I don't want to go down there. I was like, let me keep him up, post him against the cage. Maybe I get to break the angle he's on. And then eventually I was like, all right, this shit is kind of tight. Let me push on his arm and see if I can pop my head out. And then once my head got out, I was a little upset that he threw that guillotine on me. So I was trying to land some quality ground and pound.
And as far as the doctor stoppage at the end of the first round, like, did you feel there was going to be a round two, or did you feel like, maybe you did enough damage and he was hurt enough where they were going to call it off before round two began?
Initially, I thought I thought it was end of the round and we were coming back, because when he was on the ground, he was like attempting to protect himself. So I knew he was like, nearing the end of his road, but he definitely still had a little bit more fight in him, I think, at least. And so like, when the ref called it, when I looked over and I seen like he looked like he was just out of it on the stool, and then when he got up, the doctor stopped it. And then like I did go back and watch the fight, and when I watched it over, seeing how he ended around, like, barely getting up and then stumbling back over to his corner and then plopping down on the stool, head down, I was just like, all right, he was, that was probably a good call.
Yeah, and a big win for you. You look great throughout the round there, all 5 minutes that we got to watch. I was watching it at home on UFC Fight Pass. What was your overall takeaway from the evening, the venue, just the card in general?
Everything just happened so fast. We were supposed to be there at 4. We got there. It was like, got there, checked in, wrapped my hands, started warming up. And then like literally, I think a couple people got finished right before me. So it was like, by the time I was done warming up, it was like, all right, Andre, to the cage. And it was like, all right, I'm finally back home. I'm in the cage where I'm supposed to be.
Did you get a chance to go out and celebrate in any way, shape, or form afterwards? What did you guys do
we,
post-fight?
we tore Rhode Island up a little bit. We definitely tore Rhode Island. I had a bunch of friends come out, supported me. And so afterwards we got some greasy food, a nice greasy cheeseburger, a little bit of bacon. And, then we went out afterwards.
Very good. Yeah, well deserved to eat the food you want to after going through that fight camp and all the hard work you put in. UFC 268 was the night before you were competing, and it lasted until like, geez, almost 1:32 in the morning. It seemed like so many great fights. Did you stay up and watch it at all, or I mean, because it was such an epic card?
I did. I did. I'm actually friends with Kamaru Usman, so I did watch that fight. Friends with Shane Burgos, so I definitely watched that. Chandler and Gaethje, I'm friends with Chandler as well. Um, and a bunch of guys. Phil Hawes, he looked wonderful early on and just got caught. Man, this sport is just so unforgiving.
Hmm.
And so I had a bunch of guys that I knew on the card that was fighting, so I stayed up and I watched it. But I did doze off several times.
Yeah, it was a long night of fights. One of the best cards in my recent memory. Let's start with Usman and Covington. How did you score that fight? Because it was clearly rounds 1 and 2 for Usman. I actually thought Colby took 3 and 4, and I thought Usman had the fifth. Like, did you feel it
Yeah,
was that close of a fight?
yeah, I had the 3-2. I thought Kamaru. I thought when he was dominant, he definitely was dominant. He was landing the harder, more significant strikes. But I mean, shouts to Colby because that man has some heart, man. He pushes a tough pace. He kept shooting, even though some of them was getting stuffed. He kept throwing. I mean, he went for it. He definitely went for it.
Where do you think this win puts Usman as far as GOAT status for welterweight, all-time welterweights? Because George St. Pierre, longtime champion, considered one of the best. Do you feel like Usman has to win a few more and defend the title a little bit more to catch him, or do you feel like he's close to being there?
If he's not close to now, man, he definitely surpassed me. He beat all the guys around him. I mean, who else is there left for him to fight? He's at the point now where he's talking about taking super fights. So yeah, Kamaru he's definitely top dog in that division.
When you're watching the UFC, I mean, we talked before, and you said that's your goal. You feel like a big win at CES 65, which you clearly got. That might be the fight that gets you into the big show. I mean, we saw what Chris Curtis recently did, finishing Haas, and he's, I think, right around the same age as you are. He's been at it for a while, and he got his shot. Does it just excite you? Does it motivate you and just make you want to work harder and get back in the gym when you're watching a card like that on the biggest of stages?
I mean, definitely because actually preparing for this fight, I did quite a few sparring sessions at Tiger Showman. So, like I said, I've trained with Shane Burgos, who fought that night as well. Julio Arce, who's fighting this week coming up. And so, like, I've sparred and, shared the ring with these guys on many different occasions. So it's like, if you guys are in there doing it, then I know I could be in there doing it as well. So, I think it's about time.
Yeah. So, okay, what is next, man? You got the win. I imagine you're healthy, no injuries, right? So you can be back in there relatively soon. What's the time frame? When
Yeah.
can we see you fight next?
Whenever I can get one. It took me 2 years to get this one, it took me 2 years to get this fight. So hopefully it's not quite as long for the next one, but I'm game, man. I don't, I'm hanging out right now, but probably towards the end of the week, I'll start back training again. And whenever they call, I'll definitely be ready.
Would it matter the weight class, or do you just want to stick with where you're at? Or if you got a short notice fight, a weight class up, would you take that?
Yeah, 45, 55. I don't care. It's all relative to me. I'll fight whoever, whenever. It doesn't matter. And I'm genuine when I say that because a lot of guys they say that, but they don't really mean it.
Now, did you talk to the CES owners there about maybe bringing you back for another fight for that promotion if the UFC doesn't take you? What other options are you looking at if you don't get that call up?
Well, they definitely enjoyed having me. I mean, I'm simple. I come in, I make weight. I don't require too much. So they definitely enjoyed having me. So they said if I needed to come back to do another fight, they'll be more than happy to, have me back. Hopefully that was what I would needed in order to make it on a bigger platform. So right now we're just waiting and seeing what options we have and what's the best route to take.
You don't seem like the trash talking type of guy or someone to like call another fighter out, man. Maybe I'm wrong, but is there anybody that you like to fight that you feel like would make a great fight, or just someone in general that maybe you want to test yourself against?
Hmm. You'd have to give me a little time. I gotta think about that. But I don't talk trash in those. I talk trash, but not in those regards. I feel like should be about respect. So you should respect everybody that has the courage to get in there. That's just my own, personal opinion. Um, so I won't ever like insult another fighter, but I mean, there's definitely guys I think that I'd have a hell of a fun time in there exchanging some love with. Uh, as far as whom, off the top of my head right now, I'm not too sure. Catch me on a later date, though, and I'll definitely tell you.
Okay, well, we'll have a name before we talk next and do our next interview. In the meantime, Dre, congrats on the big win again over Mauro Chaulet at CES 65. Andre the Bull Harrison notches another victory on his pro record. Always a pleasure, man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media, and if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yes. Definitely would like to thank my team, Belmore Kickboxing, Sanford MMA, Modern Jiu-Jitsu. All you guys, thank you so much. Keith Trimble, everybody, man. You guys, I couldn't do it without you guys. That's for sure. All my Spartan partners down there in Sanford, Raphael Fizey, he has a fight coming up. Adam Borix, all you guys, thanks a ton, man, for helping me out. And my management, Paradigm Management, thank you guys, for sticking with it. I know we probably didn't think it would be this difficult to get a fight, but we got it and we got it done. So thank you guys, man. I really appreciate it.